This week on 365. For many NWTF members, a morning marked by frost is a welcome sight in the Whitetail Woods. Follow us as we head west to hunt the Kansas Whitetail Rut. Ducks and Bucks Outfitter is located near the small town of Kiowa. Here, deer hunters find themselves perched amidst a view of the Medicine River. Owner Brady Walker and his guides bring a combined 40 years of hunting expertise to this farm, and the opportunity for giant bucks here shows it. We'll join Brady as he finds time to head to the stand as a hunter and not a guide for the first time in 6 years. And if Kansas isn't enough, we'll also join up with Mossy Oak's Cuz Strickland. While hunting North Dakota, Cuz will prove that November is not only a good time for whitetails, but muleys as well. It's the start of the rut for our hunters, and the bucks' necks are starting to swell.
Take my body, won't you lay me down? Drop my hammer on the cold hard ground.
You can hide where you want to. You can run where you can. But nothing on earth's gonna save you when the man comes down your way. When the man comes down your way, Lord, the man comes down your way. The devil's gotta get paid when the man comes down your way.
You know, if you live in the Midwest and some certain places, the rut is that magical, whatever it is, 7, 8, 9, 10 days when the bucks you will never see any other time are up on their feet chasing. You know, that is the maximum opportune time for you to see that big deer. A lot of ways to figure that out. You know, when does it start? Well, depends on where you leave. I found the best place to hone in, unless you have a biologist as a personal friend, is go to a meat processor and get him to flip his records back of when the big deer are brought in. And I will promise you, every year that window's about the same. So he can tell you to the day about when the rut starts, depending on where you're at.
Kansas, named for the famed Kansas River that runs through it. This region of the United States is one of the most productive agricultural areas in North America. Here, prairie farmlands produce high yields of wheat, sorghum, and sunflowers. And for a hunter searching for giant whitetails, Kansas is blessed with a bountiful crop of those as well.
My area that we were hunting out here in Kansas is, primarily river bottom, Medicine River. You know, it's got a lot of plum thickets, it's got a lot of CRP grass, blue stem pasture type stuff. Just the rolling terrain is what a lot of it is.
Earlier in the season, we showed that Brady Walker knows how to manage for wildlife. The success rate he posts for waterfowl is a good indicator that as a guide, he's doing something right. But Brady's management goes one step further. He also knows what it takes to harvest mature whitetails as well.
I think an advantage that we have out here in this country is being able to see, long distances. If you can find that tree and get that tree stand up 15, 20 foot, we can see miles in some places, and I think it really helps us. People come out to hunt with me from all parts of the United States, and they get out here and they're amazed that, you can watch the rut take place. From 400 to 500 to a half a mile away, you can watch bucks interacting with the does and fighting and doing things that people just don't get to see.
Came in here, we saw a couple of big bucks in here. They're bedding right back here, several hundred yards. It's real windy today, so we thought we could take a chance, come in here, pop a stand up in this, the only tree on this whole fence row they've been traveling. Got wheat here, bedding area here, and they're traveling this fence line. So we're hoping we can get a stand in here quiet enough, windy day, see if we can't get in the morning and knock out a big one, so hope it works.
NWTF 365 is brought to you by the National Wild Turkey Federation. Conserve, hunt, share. Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts. And Benelli. Simply perfect. For more information about the National Wild Turkey Federation, log on to nwtf.org and be sure to join while you're there. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well to keep up on all the latest news and events from your conservation leader.
Welcome to Quack Shack, where you get more bang for your duck.
Yeah, can I get a 5 Benelli Vinci's, please?
You want to supersize that? 3.5 inches for only a few dollars more.
Now we cook them with peanut oil.
Benelli's Vinci just got supersized. Meet the new 3.5-inch Super Vinci. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. Indeed.
Now that's what I call boom, boom, boom.
When you start adding up the price some guys pay to knock down a gobbler, you might be shocked to learn how little it costs for a finely tuned machine to do the actual knocking down. Specialized turkey shotguns from New England Firearms. In your choice of pump or semi-automatic, they're hard on the birds and easy on your budget.
This here is one tough desperado. If you're going to take him down, you'd better be packing some heat. Like the new Derringer and Smoke and Gun turkey calls from HS Strut. The Smoke and Gun friction calls are just the right caliber for your shootout with Old Tom. The Derringer is a lethal combination of size and volume that proves how deadly a small weapon can be. All use an ultra-tuned soundboard and custom wood pan. The new calls to point his spurs to the sky. New from HS Strut.
This segment of NWTF 365 is presented by Browning, the best there is, and Mossberg. Early November in the whitetail world means one thing: big bucks become more active. Even though November doesn't guarantee the tagging of a mature whitetail, your odds do increase. The Whitetail Rut is a prized few weeks on the calendar, and Brady Walker knows this. So once again, we find Brady perched high up in a tree on a frosty November morning.
Here we are, second morning in Kansas. Same stand as we sat in yesterday mornings. Had the encounter with a nice 8-pointer. Little bit of action going on. Wheat field behind us, we can see deer in it, so we know deer are starting to funnel out of that wheat field. We're gonna sit here and stick tight. Got a good wind, should be good. Rut's getting ready to kick in. Waiting for the big boy this morning.
I look forward, as I do every year, to the first, this time frame, this first week of November. The time changes, the days start getting shorter, you start getting cool weather, the leaves coming off the trees. It's just not only is it a beautiful time of year weather-wise, but you just know that window of opportunity to kill a mature deer is there. And it's, you never know what you're going to encounter when you go to the woods. People say it all the time. I didn't even know we had that deer on our property. These big deer come out for that short time frame, and you got a chance to kill them. It's just an exciting time of year. Second morning, we got in there and, got in quiet. It was another really nice morning, just a little bit of a light wind and cool. had deer around us. As soon as we sat down and settled, you know, just as the sun was trying to come up, it was just getting good and light where you could see good, and I really was about to start rattling and maybe making some noise and seeing what was happening. I just kind of scanned out to my west out through the plum thickets, and I saw a big bodied deer, and I knew it was probably a buck, and I got my binoculars up, and once I got a look at him with binoculars, instantly knew he was a shooter.
That's a shooter for sure. He's coming this way. I gotta be careful. There's does and stuff right here close. I gotta watch them and be careful. Make sure these does don't see me. That's a nice buck. I'm gonna draw when he gets right behind that tree. Smoked him. I smoked him. I smoked him. That's in the pump house. That's in the pump house. Hang on. That's in the pump house. He's wobbling. He's down right there, 75 yards. Kansas monster, baby. Come right in here, big mainframe 10. Holy cow, the rut is on in Kansas. Deer roaming. Same stand as yesterday. Had an encounter. Passed up a marginal shot on about 140-inch 8, and I'm glad I did because I just killed a big one. 22 yards PSE, put it right in the pump house. I can't stand it anymore. I'm going to find that deer. I don't even have to find him. No track job. He's right there. We got to go look at this big boy.
Snapshots, good times and great memories. Brought to you by Mossy Oak. It's not just a passion, it's an obsession. On a hunt in Campeche, Mexico, NWTF member Clarence Dyes was able to take this beautiful ocellated turkey. For Clarence, this completed his third World Slam. The NWTF and Mossy Oak salute Clarence in his role in preserving our hunting heritage. Snapshots, good times, great memories is brought to you by Mossy Oak.
How many rounds can you feed through a Remington Versamax before it malfunctions? We'll let you know when we get there. With VersaPort gas technology, the Versamax reliably cycles pretty much any 12-gauge round. Remington Versamax. Any load, anywhere, every time.
Because when versatility meets reliability, it's game over. Remington. One moment, one shot.
Take him.
Since 1973, the National Wild Turkey Federation has worked with wildlife professionals and volunteers across North America. Today, more than 7 million wild turkeys roam the continent, but there is a critical need to conserve and protect the land on which they live. As the world's leader in upland habitat restoration, the NWTF needs your help. Your membership will help us conserve habitat for wild turkeys, deer, songbirds, and other wildlife. Join online now at nwtf.org or call 800-NWTF.
If you're like me and a lot of others, you started out bird hunting with a pump shotgun. They're simple to use, safe, and affordable. That's exactly what we set out to achieve with the introduction of our PA08 pump shotgun. What sets it apart is a really nice fit and finish, it handles well, functions flawlessly, and has the quality features you would expect from Weatherby, all at an unbelievable low price. So check it out and make the PA08 your choice, whether in the field or on the range.
This portion of NWTF 365 is presented by Remington, and Hunter's Specialties.
As a guide and an outfitter, you know, I do all my own bookings and I talk to all the people and spend a lot of time on the phone and, you know, talking to landowners and getting and running the business part of it and doing all the things you have to do. And, you know, you just lose track of time. I've seen hundreds of deer shot and hundreds of thousands of duck shot and enjoyed every minute of it. I love it. That's why I do this. I love to see people enjoy hunting. I guess you kind of lose track of, you know, man, it's been 6 years since I've actually got to go out there and hunt, and you sacrifice that in this job, and I know that. You know, I knew it from the very beginning I was going to sacrifice it. Next thing you know, it's been 6 years and I haven't killed a deer with my bow, or really haven't got to go much. It's been great to be able to do it this year, and I sure am going to try to make some time to fit it in and do it again. That looks good. Found the arrow. Lots of red on that arrow. I'm just gonna go right here to the last place I saw him go down. He's coming through here, and this is about right up here is the last place I saw him go down. There he is right there. I can see the horn sticking up in the grass. Let me get my hands on this guy. Look at that. Look at that buck. Big good mass on the bases. Heavy horn, chocolate tin. Big bodied, what you'd expect up here in Kansas. River bottom deer, probably 5.5-year-old buck, I guess. Chocolate horns. It's, you know, it's been 4, 5, 6 years since I've killed a buck with my bow, and I forgot how awesome it really is.
With a big buck in hand, Brady's proved that patience, perseverance, scouting, and a little thing called the rut are all critical components for taking mature whitetails. 2 states north, though, we find Mossy Oak's Cuz Strickland on a quest to take a trophy as well.
Minutes till 6. We've been here about an hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half, and we've probably seen 15 deer. Every single one of them went and drank from that little spring right there. It's a natural spring. Stays wet.
North Dakota, once again another state in the famed Midwest. Hunters here are blessed with a diversity of wildlife. Pronghorn, moose, elk, sheep, and of course deer make up the big game offerings for this Dakota. Bordering Canada, North Dakota identifies itself as being the geographic center of the North American continent. It's also the 4th least densely populated state in the U.S. So needless to say, the wildlife receives a slight break from heavy human encroachment.
There's all kinds of activity. What we hadn't seen is any bone, no antlers, but it's been a lot of deer activity. It seems like the most feeding is right down here by this little corner fence. There's a big oak tree down there, it looks like. They spend a lot of time down there, but it's been a lot of activity. It's just now getting time for them old big ones to move, so far so good.
Federal Premium Ammunition, makers of MagShock, gives turkey hunters the ultimate ammunition. The secret of its success lies within the wad. The innovative flight control wad opens from the rear and stays with the shot longer for tighter downrange patterns. Accuracy and power combine for a lethal combination. Now available in 10 and 20 gauge. Don't let that Tom take another step. Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts.
When you're eye level with the critters you hunt, your camouflage better be up to the task. With depth, detail, and definition unrivaled in the game, Mossy Oak's Breakup Infinity will cover you like never before. From rocky flats to hardwood hollows and more, no matter where you hide, no matter how close you get, Mossy Oak's Breakup Infinity is the camo you need to handle any hunt on the ground. Mossy Oak's Breakup Infinity. Depth, detail, and definition.
At 365, the NWTF, we're proud to invest in the wise stewardship of our great land. Along with our partner organizations, we reach out to students all over North America to teach them about conservation and wildlife. By educating the next generation, we're investing in future conservationists and helping preserve our hunting heritage. If you'd like to become a member or get involved with the NWTF in your community, give us a call at 1-800-THE-NWTF or visit www.nwtf.org. And while you're online, be sure to like our Facebook page. NWTF 365 is brought to you by Weatherby, Marlin, the Great American Rifle, Flambeau, and Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession.
Well, you know, the National Wild Turkey Federation's Upland program is actually just a formalization of a lot of the things that the National Wild Turkey Federation has done for habitat and different species. You know, the habitat work that we do for wild turkeys benefits a multitude of species, and of course most of those are upland species. So instead of saying we're just working for wild turkeys, we're actually working for all of those upland species, especially bobwhite quail, grouse, woodcock, and even white-tailed deer.
Well, when you look historically, we've had in the early days, a time where we managed a lot of the upland habitats in early succession, indiscriminate burning, if you will. You had a lot of open understory, and this was good for quail, and it was good for turkeys. But if you get into a decline in cutting timber, or restrict fire, or restrict management activities, you're going to have succession take that over, and it crowds out any of the early species. So I know here in South Carolina, we've got a lot of mid-story that is of sweet gum and other species that are not good deer browse plants. And so where we had 20 years ago a lot of upland browse and good turkey habitat and good deer browse habitat, we've lost some of that. So we've got to come back and set that succession back and bring in those species that are good for turkeys and good for quail and ruffed grouse and other species. One other thing that people lose sight of, when you manage habitat, you manage for a lot of